Right, here we are, issues 32, 33 and 34, where we move on from the kind of standard ribs and plating parts and move on to something new. So without further ado, I'm going to open up these bags, get these pieces open and have a look at them. Okay, here they are out of the packets, and the first thing that I noticed is that I was completely wrong. There's still loads more of the rib metal parts in these pieces just here. As well as a 4-piece connector, the screws for them, things like that. More screws to connect the hull plating to the framework, yada yada yada. So I will, do you know what, actually, no, let's do it like that. I am just going to quickly go ahead and put these onto the Falcon that we've already made, and then I'll be right back with you. And here we are, all done. This frame is now intact, as is this one, apart from the holes where they're meant to be there. I've also put on the, hull plating that was left over, so I think it was these 2 pieces. Yeah, so that is how it all looks at the moment. There are some leftover framework parts from these issues which we'll look at next time. So I'm going to leave the hole there. Just going to quickly pop this on. There we go. And that is how the bottom half of the Falcon looks at the end of these videos. Okay, here we are. We have moved on now to the brand new parts. Thank goodness we've got brand new parts. I was getting a bit sick of just kind of seeing the normal blade, hull plating. No, it's not fantastic, but just a bit of a freshen up was needed. And we have it in the form of these parts. So these 2 are pretty much identical, just curving the other way. Nice little detail here, just zoom in. A bit of a faded weatherwork here. More will be done, and more on that later. And then of course we have this bit here, which again has got nice clean lines, very similar to the rest of the hull plating. Like I say, a bit of black paintwork inside, but basically that goes there. This will go on something like so, and this will go on something like so, and this will form the back end of the underside of the Falcon, where the engine goes. So if you can imagine, the rest of the Falcon is here, and then you got the blue light of the engine shining here, whoops, shining out here, and the Falcon going that way. That is where this piece will go on the finished thing, which I will do in a little bit later. It also comes with all these little piston shapes. They're all identical, I believe. I don't think there's any difference between them. So let's just have a look at one of them up close. There we go. Okay, so nicely crafted. Oh, they are numbered. I wonder if they're all numbered differently. I'll have a little look at that just a moment. Nicely crafted pistons, kind of, I'm guessing it moves kind of the engine plates depending on how fast the Falcon needs to go. I don't know, I'm not a spacecraft scientist. But yeah, very nicely molded. And basically what they do, they just attach onto there like that. They've got 2 holes. Ooh. Sorry about the focusing issues here, as always. Right, they've got 2 holes here, and 1 hole there. That matches the 2 holes, one there, and the little kind of groove you can see there. You can't see now because I've just unfocused the camera, but they are all numbered number 1. So they're not in any particular order. This one can go here, for example, and they just nicely clip on. This one goes here. Da 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 da. Yeah, I won't do them all, but you get the general idea of what happens with them. And they go on like that. Now it's very important though, you do not glue these parts on now, because there is paintwork to be done on these flat bits, and you can do it, but it makes it a lot harder when these bits are stuck on. You have to paint around it inside it, and it really gets messy. So what I'm going to do now is a very rough guide for you. I'm going to paint these up in a very rough guide based on the pictures from the magazines of how these pieces should look when they're painted up. And then depending on how well the painting goes, I might stick them on, I might leave them, do a little bit more off camera, who knows. But for now, let's paint these pieces up. Welcome to a new area in the span of these videos with all the parts of the Falcon here, You've got Han and a massive, in comparison to Han, R2. That's just an aside. I'm on this kind of tattered desk because I'm going to do some painting. Not really allowed to do painting on the main table, which is fair enough. So yeah, like I said earlier, these pieces are painted. I'm just going to throw up some pictures now of the painted parts. So the first one we'll look at is the right hand side as you look from the bottom upwards of the Falcon, and you can see kind of how it's painted there. And we'll move on to the center now. Not much, in fact I don't think there's anything painted in terms of the square panels here. So we'll quickly move on to the left, and here you can see where it is painted here. Brilliant English. Notice of course that the kind of top T part of the thrust thing is some of them are silver or dark grey, so we'll be painting those as well. But to start off with, then we'll get the red paint. Let me just quickly get it for you here. The paint I'm using is a DOA red paint. I think I might have highlighted it before when I painted the little parts of the bottom plate of the hull. Dualpaints.co.uk, Millennium Falcon hull plating red. Water-based hobby paint, 50 millilitres. So that is what I am going to be using. So I am just going to put this camera aside and start painting. Okay, so while I'm painting up here, I'm just going to talk about kind of my thoughts on painting of the Falcon. I've shared a few before, but just to kind of let you know where I am now. After watching Steve Domino's, I'm not sure that's how you say his last name, but after watching his painting the Millennium Falcon videos, the second one is up, so go check it out if you haven't yet. I have been inspired to kind of do the base colour really bold and bright. That's why I am just going to paint this red on now and leave it until such time I do more weathering, adding highlights and darken it, whatever I decide to do later on. That will be at the end of the process of building the bottom hull. At least I'm going to weather it all up in one go, as I said before. As you can see here, I'm not using a airbrush or anything like that, purely because I don't have an airbrush. I'm also not using masking tape because I think the lines will be quite defined as it is. I mean, the lines of the panels, as you saw earlier, are quite rigid, so as long as I stick to that, I should be fine. Yeah, so that is kind of my thoughts. I've finished now, so I'm going to leave this to dry and crack on with other things. Okay, so while those pieces are drying up, I just want to point out the one difference in all of these thrust vectors, I think they're called, just from my memory from the magazine. One of them is shorter, and I found my one, it's this one here. As you can see, it's just ever so slightly shorter than all the others, which are the same height. This one goes slap bang in the center of the piece, which I can't show now because it's still wet, but I'll show you in just a moment. And it comes in issue 33. So from your pack in issue 33, keep a lookout for the slightly shorter one because it's got a special place in the build. That's all I've got to say on that. I'm just going to go blow on those wet parts, dry them up, and be right back with you. Okay, nope, they are still not dry. That red paint is quite watery. I think it's meant to be used in a airbrush actually, so it's taken a while to dry. So I'll just sort of look at these pieces very quickly. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8 of them, and what they do is they clip together like I've done with this one here. It's very simple. Push. They've got a slight line in the middle. Oh, this focus. There we go. Ish. There we go. They've got a slight line down the middle. They just push together very easily. Oh, they do tend to come off, so maybe a bit of glue is required. You can glue these parts straight away because you don't need to paint on the underside because there's no detail there and it will be covered up. So you just push them together. I'll just do it with another one here just to show you, although it's not hard to do. It is hard to do one-handed, however. I kind of made it a challenge now to get this done. Yes, and I did. So yeah, very simple to do. I even did it one-handed, even though this one's fallen apart. Clip them together, glue them on now, I would, personally, and weather them up if you want to, maybe a little bit. and we'll come back to those right now. Let's put everything together. I'm not going to do any more now till the paint is dried, and we're going to put these together along with these and see how it all looks. Okay, so here are all the parts painted up as much as I'm going to do at the moment. For the most part, it's come out quite well. I'm very happy with this piece here. The lines have come out very well. A little bit of paint spillage there, but it looks okay as a base coat. Remember, this is just a base coat. It will have other treatment put on as well. This one, not so much. I had some red spillage here, which I've had to just wipe off, which is why it's got a reddy hue just here. But I mean, the paint itself looks very good. Again, it's going to be scratched up and treated as well. I made a little bit of an error earlier, believe it or not. I looked at the picture closely of this center part, and I could see that these two parts were actually darker grey than not painted at all. And these two parts here were actually fully grey, so I painted these fully grey as well. So that is why I have done that. So just to very quickly put it all together. Now, I'm not going to stick them on. It's completely up to you if you do. If you're happy with your painting job and want to stick them on, you may. Oh, just remember that one of these grey parts, if you are going to do it, is the shorter one that goes in the centre there ish. It's quite hard to do one-handed like that, so it is a little shorter. Yeah, it's up to you whether you put the painted parts on now. I am just doing this for show, just to kind of get an idea what it looks like myself as well as you guys. But I am going to leave it. I'm not going to glue them in just yet, not till they say. They might have more hints and tips in the magazines of the painting. But that just gives you an idea of the parts. Oh, no, it doesn't. I have stuck these together. They are now stuck together. And just to show you where they go, one of them will go here in this little slot here. Excuse, just something like that. And then the other one goes in that slot there, like that. I won't put it in exactly. And these two, these are very clever. When these are attached properly, it forms a little hole there. So the focus forms a little hole here. Well, that will just slot in and cover the join there as well. I'm just going to leave these out for the time being because I'm not going to stick them in yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm just going to quickly pop it onto the whole plating that we've already got to show you what it looks like. And here it is on top of the bottom of the whole plating for the Falcon. Actually, while I'm here, just to let you know, the colour I used for this is the haze grey from Tamiya, which I actually bought for another one of my models. I bet you can't guess which one from the colour. I bet you can, because you're not stupid. So yeah, let's just have a quick little zoom along of what it looks like. I'm very happy about this piece actually, because it kind of covers up the red paint splodge which I did, which is very nice. Swing round here, that part right there, that grey, I do love that grey. Round here, the red, again, weathering, it's going to change the sheen. It will fit together better when it's all screwed on. Just to zoom out, to give you the fullest sense of what the bottom of the Falcon looks like, with minimal painting, minimal weathering, and with a massive hole missing, which I hope will be rectified in future issues very soon. So I'm going to leave this video here. I finally caught up. All of those summer issues have been cleared like bats from a belfry. I'm so happy that I'm now back on track. I've actually got the next issue waiting. So yeah, subscribe if you want to, and I hope to see you all next time. Take care. Bye bye.